Welcome back to the RelatePod, a space where we delve into the intricacies of human connection. I am Livi Niyo, the RelatePod host, and I am so excited to be back on these podcast streets. Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first podcast of the year, and I am super excited that our first conversation in 2026 is with the amazing Diana and Neil Sangho. Welcome to the RelatePod, Neil and Diana.
Yeah.
Finally, we made it happen.
Yeah.
You look amazing.
Thank you. Clock
So
it.
you.
Thank you for being guests at the RelatePod. I'm elated to have this conversation with you both.
Honored to be here.
How are you doing today?
Good.
So tell us a bit about yourselves. Who are Neil and Diana?
You'd like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Oh, you want?
I'll introduce us. Then you
Yes.
introduce yourself. Yeah. My name is Neil Sangho, businessman, entrepreneur, kingdom servant, married to Diana for this is our 8th year of marriage now. Yeah, so much to learn, but together we're the Sangos. We love many things, but yeah, we also love marriage, and that's why we're here on the Relate Engage.
Yes.
Yeah, honey.
Yes.
What do you do?
It's a difficult one, but yeah, I'm a lawyer, but also discovered I'm passionate about beautiful spaces. So now I've started a business in interior design.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I'm also an author, written a book called Gorgeous Men. It's about natural hair and really empowering little girls and women embracing, the beautiful natural hair that God has blessed us with.
Amazing. Amazing. And this beautiful space today that we are recording is courtesy of Diana. So, as the Gen Zs do. As always, yes. So, we'll start off with a simple icebreaker so that our audience can get to know you a bit better. I'll just ask a few questions and you can point to each other or simultaneously answer.
Yeah.
So, the first one. Who is a chef and who is a reservations expert?
Chef.
Reservations expert.
Definitely.
Ooh. Who is the one who remembers every anniversary, birthday, and first date?
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Oh, you and calendared our date, our first
Fast.
The day
The day that I
asked
asked
It's 6th
amazing.
of Jan, I think 2012. Every year that
Comes
it pops
back
up on the
on the
calendar, and
calendar.
I'm like, oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a
That's
good reminder.
amazing. And helps you to keep that core memory for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the travel style, because I know Neil travels a lot for work. When you go on a trip, who is the I have a 10-page itinerary person? And who is let's just see where the wind blows us person?
So this is the opposite of our lives. But when we're traveling, because I travel a lot and everything, I know where we're going. I know what time's supposed to be there. I know I have the details.
You
in
have
my
the
head.
itinerary.
I have the
to the
itinerary,
T.
the Excel sheet. My wife is just a plan.
Passenger.
She's a passenger princess.
I love it.
She has no idea.
I love it for you,
I think
passenger
for the
princess.
for the last all our years of marriage, I think she has not known where we're going. Not the hotel, not anything.
Amazing.
Yeah, but also it's because he loves the element of surprise.
Of surprise, yeah.
Like
so.
he literally at the beginning used to be stressed about
to be
it.
stressed.
But,
Because
like,
in my
so
life, I'm
that's-
like the
that's-
unplanned guy.
It's got details like, okay, where are we going? I need to know. What do I need to pack? What's the weather like? But he's like, you know what? Just,
Sure.
yeah, like until he did
2
that.
trips in.
Yeah, then
it's
I was like,
it's me. Yeah. So,
I know that it won't be something he understands my kind of trouble. So yeah.
what do you think about my kind of trouble?
Amazing, amazing. I love the passenger princess part for you.
Yeah.
But it also shows that Neil, you've earned her trust.
A little buddy told me you're also a passenger princess, so that's why you love it.
Yeah. All about being a passenger princess. Shout out to Dr. Neil. Yes, you touched a bit on it. I wanted us to take a trip down memory lane. Neil, what was the actual first thing you thought of when you saw Diana for the first time, if you can remember?
First time before we're dating.
Before you were dating for anything.
The most serious person I've seen in my life. I was like, I pray for that chick's boyfriend and eventually husband. He'll be in for it. She was like she was too structured, too focused. Like she couldn't hear, like, I don't know, a car passing by because she's like locked in. Fun fact, I used to watch her from my room in campus in Stone. Used to be in Africa Hall. And I just like, somehow, I used to do like the morning class and she used to do the evening class. So I'd see her going to class and I'm like, yo, this that girl there. She's laser focused. I just like, I cannot.
There was a part of you like, let me first distract her.
Yeah, maybe I'm but she's too serious.
Okay, and Diana, did he have a chance from the start?
I had a chance. She's not told me this part.
Diana, did he have a chance? And let's be honest,
You had a crush on me. Wait,
the RelatePod is a space where things are
we're
exposed.
coming back next week.
No, because honestly, like, I can't say that like, oh, he had a chance, because I remember even the very first time he told me he liked me, I was absolutely shocked. Because I was like, we are friends. Like, you don't just jump out. And he said something funny till this day that I look back and was like, did you expect an enemy? Like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, but still, like, this really got me off guard. Like, I thought, we're friends, and it turns out people had other plans.
Yeah, he has to get out of the boyfriend.
You know it.
He has to escape out of that corridor. That's how he got in. He was laser focused. But you still haven't answered that question. So he never stood a chance.
No.
Was you who thought,
Maybe.
maybe.
I gave you a lift from the road. Yeah, and then I didn't ask for anything for the lift.
No, I was just like, he's such a good friend. I can't imagine, like, yeah.
Me in a friend zone.
Yeah.
To give her-
How did you jump out? If Neil, both of you basically, when you look back to those first days when you guys were dating, when you were finally out of the friend zone, you had gotten out of jail, being in a friend zone, what has surprised you over the years about each other? What has surprised you, Diana, about Neil? Neil, what has surprised you about Diana?
I'll go first. Because of I thought Dana was really in my head. She was like really serious. She couldn't laugh. Even if I cracked with joke, I knew that, if someone doesn't laugh, it's going to be Dana. What surprised me is how Dana is stubborn. Like how crazy she is in her head. She has a very crazy sense of humor. And so that was really a brilliant surprise. And I guess, I think to my point that sometimes you really have no idea of the person and you can only see what you can see, but God knows who really will compliment you. And then she's really interesting and fun to be with. Like I spend so much time with her, and I've always done since we began dating. But every single time, I'm either learning something new. She's making me laugh. So
she's always surprising
me. So I've loved that element of her that I sort of discover out, but it really existed, and it made me really be surprised.
That's amazing. Yeah. From a very laser focused, serious lady to someone who is fun and adventurous.
Even the travel that we do, a lot of it, this is Dara. She's done who had the dream of traveling to see the world and be outside. So yeah, she was really packed full of amazing things. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think about it. I think it's more to do with how Neil, I didn't see it then, but now I think I see it more. He really values family, which on my end is a bit different. So some of the things actually, he insists we have to go and check on mom, we have to, and I guess it has rubbed off on me a bit as well. Okay, yeah, family is possible. He'll push me and say, hey, have you checked on mom? Yeah, and I think that for me just helps me keep me also connected to my family as well as his family. So yeah.
That's amazing. So you thought he was this guy?
Yeah, because
he was a vibe master.
When a vibe master falls for you,
there's a part of him that is also really
family.
Yeah, that's so strong.
Family. Yeah. That's amazing.
I remember we were arguing because I love to travel. So for me, I was like, I need to go and experience a white Christmas in Europe or,
So what, all
these holidays. And he's like, nope, we're going back home. We're going to spend those days with family.
I hear you. But interestingly, for me, one of the things that was very important for me when I was choosing a spouse was someone who had to value. If I didn't sense that you valued family, no. That's really beautiful. Okay, we are in the love month. This is the month of February. Woohoo! And everyone usually has a definition of love, romance. I'm curious, 8 years into marriage, what does love actually look like for you guys? What does love mean for the Sanghos?
Yeah.
What does love mean for you?
What love mean? That question could be the entire podcast discussion. But I think I I've like it has gone through very many seasons. But for now, what love means to me today is, especially in the context of our marriage, it's choosing my wife and choosing my marriage. But it's making the choices that every day say, I chose her and I chose us every single day. And that's what really in this season love means to me. When I think of work and the things I have to do to bring resources, am I choosing her? When I think of my friendships, when I think of my ambitions, my dreams, and I think of what God requires of me, am I choosing her? And that's what for me it means. It's come down to the understanding of it's a choice that I look at, review daily, but also I apply to all the things I do in my life.
So what's interesting, we didn't even discuss this. That's exactly how I view it, because like I was just waiting for him to hear what he says, and then I heard him say that, and I was like, he's just said my answer. Yeah, but honestly, knowing what I know now, because I used to think love is, I still believe it is, because there's a description of love in the Bible. Love is kind, love is, it's all these things. And I think it still is an expression of love, but when you break it down to how practical it is, it's actually choosing this person every day, in every decision, when I think about it's that selflessness and saying whatever I'm doing. But also something that I think Neil taught me was, he said it, he's been saying it, and he said, I choose to love you every day. And that's something that I'd never really thought about. But now when you put it into practice, it's in the daily things that you do. It's in the remembering that, I'm going to do this thing, and it's not just about me anymore. It's about me and my spouse, because once upon a time we were both single and you could do whatever you wanted and it was up to you. But now you remember that there's somebody else whose my decisions affect them as well. So it's choosing that and saying, I choose my husband and I also choose my marriage. Yeah, because ultimately it's the both of us really against the world.
That is true.
Yeah.
Choosing a spouse every day, it's intentional.
Yeah.
It just doesn't just fly and happen.
Yeah.
You're making the intentional choice every morning,
Right.
evening.
Yeah.
You have that choice. Should I go back home?
Yeah.
Should I go to this?
Yeah.
But you're making a choice. You're thinking about them. Okay, my itinerary, my travels.
Yeah.
What I'm doing. How does this feed into our family?
If an opportunity comes,
do you
does it benefit
consider
the both
them?
of us, or is it
Mhm.
just
I'm pursuing my opportunity at all costs.
Amazing. We'll go deeper into that. I also wanted us to hear, what are some of your favorite romantic moments in the 8 years you've been married? He even has a name, Mr. Romantic.
We because of that mindset, that has been our mindset. Like now we're more intentional about it, but this has been our mindset for a very long time, right? And so we really, I've lived a life where we're doing the things that will bring us love and bring us closer together. And sometimes that understanding, but most times it's been for that call. One of the most romantic moments, there are many, I can think of many, but I think one of the romantic ones, most romantic, when my wife dreamt of going to Santorini.
Dreamy.
Yeah, and so, again, thanks be to God. But one summer, right before the summer, I was able to plan that experience. Thought about some places and we came together, we thought about it, etc. And yeah, and I just I just remember she had a wallpaper on her phone of where she'd Santorini and a small little house in Santorini.
She manifested this trip.
Manifested it. And so I remember just being in we got to Santorini, it was amazing. It's beautiful. There's no picture which can
capture.
But I remember just walking down one of the alleys and I looked at the house and I'm like, where have I seen this house before?
You were actually trying to
take a photo.
Yeah, you asked me to go and stand.
And then I
Picture.
saw the place. I'm like, where have I seen this place before? And I'm like, that's the photo on there.
It was just a different season. It was, I think, spring. But we went in a summer and,
that memory stayed with me in terms of two things. One, personally, I even didn't know about Santorini before I met Diana, first of all. But secondly is that even when I knew about it, I was like, man, how possible is this thing going to be? But just seeing her in that moment, like we're just shouting, "Oh my God!" The people are looking at us, they're like this black crazy couple. But yeah, I think that that moment and that trip, and it was just us. We didn't know. We just got like a bike, a buggy, 4-wheeler. She sat on the back, and we just rode. Like I just thought to myself, like, oh, God has really been good to us. It was so blessed. It was so nice, and we've had many of them, but that really sticks out to me.
It's a core memory.
It's cool.
Well done. Romantic, Santorini, Greece. Pressure to the audience.
There have been many. That's why I say like he's quite intentional about doing the most. Yeah, really. Sometimes it catches me off guard. Sometimes I'm like, now that he got me used to it, now like expect.
Don't start something that you can't finish.
We'll finish it.
Yes.
We'll finish it.
Yeah, because we've really had some really amazing times together. I think I was just trying to think, and I was trying to zero down to one, but I'm just like, well, I think it was really the beginning, I would say. It was a proposal. Yeah, so I had warned him that he should never propose to me on my birthday, but he used that against me. It's because it was like, I'd already warned him, so I was certain he's not going to do it. And it happened. We were in Dubai. This guy, he always does his research. So he that's why when you ask that question, who's the reservations, he reserved the most romantic restaurant in Dubai. Took me there for, what was it? It was like, because I'd insisted, he kept asking, what do you want for your birthday? And I just said, I want cake. I just wanted cake. Like, and kept saying, what do you want? What do you want? And he said, cake.
Imagine, huh? They're like
Cake.
kids, like, I want cake. I want the cake.
So I remember, like, because we traveled and we had dinner at the hotel where we were staying at. And, you know, like, after dinner, you're full. Like, then he said, you know what? You said you wanted cake. So let's go for dessert. So that's how he got me to get to that amazing restaurant by the what's it called? Is it the Oasis? Well, by the waters, overlooking the barge. Yeah, and when I think about what it took for him to do what he did, then he tells me the story of how he curated even the engagement ring. It took him, I think, 2 years to save for the ring. And I didn't even know all these details until, later. Yeah, like it's now he's telling me the story. But to think about, he thought through all this detail. And then right after the proposal, we had a limousine tour of the Dubai city.
Guys, I want that rich. I didn't eat for many nights.
Yeah. No. But guess what? It was supposed to be a helicopter ride. But because I was with my sister and her boyfriend at the time, the helicopter could only take, I think, 3 people at most. So he decided he was being considerate. So he toned down to the limousine. And I was like,
guys, book me.
It was like, at that time, that was like what? Yeah, that was
2017.
It's like, 2017.
I just know people.
Wow. Those romantic moments are next level. They are amazing.
So you can see he spoiled me right from the beginning.
So. Passenger princess, soft life, wife.
Right. Yeah.
Those are beautiful, beautiful memories. I thought that, hearing about how you began and how, you've had beautiful moments. I loved what you said, your understanding of love is. For me, what it spoke to me is pursuit, because you are deciding every day to pursue your partner, to choose them, to intentionally consider them. And really in marriage, that's it. Yeah. Beyond all the other things, it's how you're thinking about your partner. I always think of marriage as a garden. I think it's the best metaphor for me.
Yeah.
Because when you think about a garden, you're thinking seasons. There are seasons when a garden is flourishing and it's all beautiful and nice. But then there are also seasons when there are weeds that have to be pulled out, thorns and thistles, and things are dry. And I think that marriage has all those seasons.
Right.
And of course, we've just been talking about the flourishing seasons, Santorini and Dubai and all the beautiful places you guys have been. But I'm really, really curious. Have there been seasons of dryness for you guys? Yes. Yeah. That's real marriage for sure. And I'm curious, how did you navigate them? Because I feel like in those seasons, it's really, really hard to stay connected with your spouse. The fight to stay connected in those seasons is so hard. I'll speak as a woman because we really want to connect emotionally. In those seasons, that disconnect can be so amplified. And so I'm curious, how have you guys navigated those seasons? Yeah, share with us. It's maybe a season, a practical one if you can. Yes.
Yeah. Tell me to go first.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you'd imagine, right? When you hear Dubai, how it all began, you're like, oh, man, this is connection plus. Pro Max.
Pro Max. Yeah, that's
Trust me, far from it. And I think that, like, over the years, as you learn, and again, all these things are nice and amazing. And, if you're able to really, to the best of your ability, you do whatever you can. But I think one of the things that is a reality, not only of marriage, but of life, is that life is just a seasonal transition, right?
Yeah.
Highs and lows and highs and lows. And, sometimes, like I used to, at some point I thought maybe if the highs are so high, the lows are also so low. Right? Yeah,
Meet each other.
Because you're in a high, feel like, imagine if I'm Santorini, maybe if I was in Nigeria, maybe my low would not be so low. But yeah, we've really been through the gutters. And that's an area for me of passion, even as I share, because most people would not want to share that side. And yet that side, or like what you do on that side, is really what determines if the marriage makes it or not. Like, it's easy to stay when you're in, by the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah. In that limousine.
Yeah. But also, it's easy to think that because of the Burj Khalifa, you're actually connecting. It's easy to think that way. But, but the things that actually bring you closer and make you thrive are the things that you do every single day. The things that you learn to do, even though you don't feel like. And, we've been in some quite low seasons. In fact, we're just navigating right now one of our hardest. Like, we've just, like, really, like, so, when you're like in the low, we're not at the bottom, but we're now on the climb.
out of that.
Out, yeah. Because, like, we didn't, like, the previous didn't end for us in a very high season, ended low. But that's all to just share and say that, like, those seasons exist. And again, previously, these seasons, I think the first premise that we really agreed on in the beginning, Dan and I mostly I said, I'm not going to leave you. Never. So we began with that understanding, right? We were privileged to be in some good spaces where we had people who just gave us the best of the knowledge they knew how to. And we resolved and said from the beginning, said, we will not leave. We're going to stay married. And I think that's a good place to start, because then you're clear on the fact that no matter what happens, I'm going to be here. And so the first tool I would say to someone who, if you are, I don't know, the faith that you are professing as you watch this, in our faith, marriage is for life. Like, you choose to marry someone and you choose them for life. And so that is really good to have the same North Star, right? Because when push comes to shove, we all default to what do we believe as individuals, then together. So one was that we're going to stay together. The second thing is, that has helped us really is community.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's the times when you're stuck in a place, or when you're doing very well in a place, you go back to your circle. And whatever they tell you, either consciously, subconsciously, it stays with you, and it's how you apply. And for the most part, the people around us have always told us, you guys may go through this thing, but we believe in you as a couple. We also understand why it's happening to you, because of a bigger, higher purpose that is calling. That's why the challenges must come. But also individually, we see that you're able to navigate it. So that has helped us a lot. And the third thing, which now has become like the pillar, and that's why this podcast is quite timely for us. Like I told you, coming out of that season and now, beginning to learn and to grow, is how can we pursue this more or less lifestyle, right? And that's why I answers are more towards choice of loving, like you choose to love. When someone answers like that, they have an experience around, having made some not so good choices, right? And I think by God's grace, somehow in the past, we've made these choices subtly and intentionally. You land in a place, but we have survived because we've always, somehow, like, at our lowest, you find one thread to hold on, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. What must I do? What must I do? Right? And those choices individually have helped us, right? And for me, I thought I was Friday, just a day ago, couple of guys in my office were asking me, but Neil, you've been married for 7 years. How do you do it? So,
Gen Z's.
yeah, and they were like, man, just give us the nuggets. Because now, first of all, how do I know who to marry? And then when I know them, everyone is stressing. And I said, first of all, you guys also stress me. So begin from there. You're going to stress that person too. But, my point is, when you decide to do something and you have people around you to help you do something, the third thing that you have to really do is, as a human being, like individually, begin to figure out, how do I become better each day at doing this? And that also is choice. Because I feel like there's the choices you both make and there's a choice that you make as an individual, right? And so a lot of discovery around and deciding to say, I must become good at this. And I must find out, if I'm not good, where am I not good? Because wanting to do something is a good start, but it's not enough. You can want to do something and do it terribly wrong. But if you're committed to becoming a degree better each day, and that comes from just individually looking and saying, how do I grow in this space every single day? I think I'll stop there. I'll let my wife chime in a bit, but yeah, have we made it?
Yeah,
How do
I think for me, what comes to mind, first of all, is I remember during premarital counseling, one of the things that was said was good intentions are not enough. And I think we keep going back to that place most times and say, you have to be intentional, you have to be intentional. Life happens. And those intentions fly out the window. One of the things I feel like that we're learning right now in this season for us is, for me, it's now questioning like the things that we struggle with, like when we find ourselves in those places where it's the thorns are growing, the we, how are you like, how you, what are you doing about it? I think for the longest time, I didn't know this. I didn't know this until now, when, it's until someone probably points it out to you that you fully understand it. But like you said, just because a woman, I think there's an innate desire to just emotionally connect. And so I always wanted that. But then, find somebody who struggles with that. And you keep trying to pursue them and they seem to be running away from it, and you just like you just keep questioning and you're wondering like, but why? But I think it's not until recently that we discovered that you have to now find out, could there be a reason as to why, where did this come from? And now it's to begin to investigate that perhaps I am this functioning adult because I adapted from my childhood. And because of the way I was raised, what I may have gone through or what I may have missed out, it formed who I became as an adult. I'm more inclined to resort to what I know and what I took on to adapt to. So for me, personally, growing up, there was never like saying outrightly, directly, I love you. There was never like, I'm proud of you. Because like there was an expectation that you go to school, you get good grades, like you don't compare yourself to others. So you can't come home and say, I performed badly, but at least I was not the last in class.
Everyone performed bad. It was a difficult exam.
Yeah, I remember you'd always be told, nope, it's you.
Yeah, we don't pay school fees for everyone.
Exactly. So I think for me, it's just to say that I found that, first of all, Neil was like my safe space. So he was a person that I always felt I could come to and tell what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about. And that for me, I feel came easy because I think I didn't have that growing up. I was a middle child, so you can understand. Somehow you sort of get lost. So now when I find somebody who can finally pay attention to you, he was like now like a child who's so excited to just let out, oh my gosh, like it just comes out so naturally. And so I found that even in those seasons when we are going through, like maybe even subconsciously, you don't understand that maybe you have gone into that place, but you still find yourself still being able to share all these things. But then you see, there has to be, it's a two-way. It's not just one way. And so I think the frustration comes in when you realize that the person who you are sharing all these things with is not doing the same for you. And so you sit back sometimes and wonder, but is that all? But then now, because right now we're in a place where we're beginning to understand maybe that, okay, oh, he is like that, or he's been going through that same thing because the things that formed in his childhood that even he didn't realize that formed who he is today as the adult that he is. And so it's not that he just doesn't want to, it's just that he doesn't understand the root of where this is coming from.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like, and then I think another thing that we recently found out, because we actually last year was one of those times when we have been consistently going for date night. It's on our calendar. We try to do as much as the only times maybe when it could not happen is probably when he's travel or it's because we also chose a date in the middle of the week where we are almost certain there will be no distractions or whatever, like where something else might be scheduled. But we realized that, you know what, we were actually not connecting, even though we were going to date night weekly. And it's weekly because most people are like, what? How do you go on date night every week? Like sometimes it's a case of, for us, we even go like once in 2 months, you know? But it's not about the frequency.
Yeah.
That's what now we are learning because, you know, you'll go on date night and somehow after you've spoken, then you're on your phones. You're
Taking
actually
pictures of the food.
right. Or like you just feel like you just feel like maybe we've just talked and there's no more to talk.
Yeah.
But because you're not going into
The depth.
a depth of, you know, like it's until recently that I realized, you know, I don't really know much about Neil's between when Neil was born to when I met him. That was like maybe how many years? 20?
Something.
Yeah, like 20 years. And yet that's a huge part of
Format. So you find out things when stories come up
years.
or whatever, but you've never like really.
And so now we are learning that it's important to have these conversations about, tell me about what did you used to do when, say for instance, you did something wrong? Yeah, like how would you cope? Would you be punished? Would it be, you know, like, and those are some of the things that form how we now react or come to each other, like in terms of what do you feel is safe? Can I come to you knowing that if I tell you, you will receive it without either turning it around or
Defending.
using it against me? And I think those are some of the things now we are learning that that's the kind of deep connection we need to be pursuing every day. And it's every day. It's not only on date night. Like date night is just like the icing on the cake. But like this is every day. What are you doing every day? So some of the things that we're doing right now to connect is even like screen time. Put away literally the phones, TV, and looking at each other and actually being present in terms of even ask questions. Tell me about your day. I want to hear about not just your work. I also want to hear about what did you feel today? Like when you were interacting with, you know, the people that what was it that you felt? Like what are the things? Because I feel like most times people feel like I only share the big things, but it's also sharing about the little small things that may not necessarily seem like they are important, but it's just for purposes of me letting the person into my world so that they understand my context as opposed to, and I think that's where it becomes easier. Like when I understand what's happening, for instance, with him, like at work, maybe I understand why sometimes he'll come home and he's just burnt out and he just wants to go to bed, you know. And yet me, I've been waiting to share with him all my day and everything, and I don't understand how you come home and then you're just like, I'm too tired, I'm exhausted. And I just like, I was hoping that we would be connecting because naturally, yes, naturally, I just want now this time, like now it's my time. You've given all your time, all these hours to everyone out in the world. Now I need you to also give me time. But the version that I get of you.
Tell me I get the tired version of.
Yeah, he's exhausted. Or like, I'll share another example when this used to happen. And until I told him, he had not realized it. Whenever he would come home and he would ring the doorbell and then I go and open, he's probably still on his phone because he's either still working or he's still on a work call. So I'm excited to receive him at the door. And alas, he's still doing all these things. And so even though, I get to hug him, he's hugging me,
Like,
but
yeah,
he's not fully there. Like he's still, and until I told him that, I'm not excited anymore to receive you, because then you're coming, and instead of you also preparing for me to meet me, I just feel like I used to be excited, and that excitement just continued to dwindle until I was just like, it's meaningless. But until the day I mentioned it to him, he had never really thought about it.
Stock.
But then once I mentioned it to him, then now he became more intentional that even if it's a work call, I'm going to make sure that I tell, whoever it is I'm on the call with that, I'm approaching my house. So maybe give me a few minutes, allow me to get in, and then so that he's present in that moment, I receive, hug, kiss, and then now it feels like you've come back home. So, but that's just one of it's a very small thing. It still speaks into how are you it's still connect. It's about connecting. Otherwise, you might as well just walk in. You find me doing something else. Maybe I'm in the kitchen, or I'm on my phone, or I'm watching something, or I'm also doing my own work.
Yeah. And you just
walk
tell me
in,
you're like, oh.
Then that's when that begins. You begin to, you see, it's what you are doing daily that's is forming a habit. So if you're doing that every day, it becomes what you are, you're feeding. So it becomes normal. Before you know it, you're drifting apart. Yeah.
Goodness. Yeah. I love your honesty and what you've shared. Diana, I think you speak for so many women who are married. I've had people tell me, this date night thing, what do people talk about? After 5 minutes, after the food you've ordered, you've eaten, you've taken the pictures.
All together.
But yeah, I think many couples feel like they have run out of things to say to each other after many years of living together, and making that intentional connection, pursuing your spouse pursuing you. Many people honestly don't know what to do or how to do it. So I feel like you've helped us a bit in that area. Is ask questions. How way before you met them, what was their life like? It will give you insight on how they are showing up
Right now
in your marriage. Why do they shut down when certain things come up? I think we are in a time and an era where you have to the things for a true intimate connection. You have to go to the hard places that you would rather not.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, for us women, I feel like it does, not that it's easy for all women, but we've grown up with this mantra, men just don't talk.
Yeah.
Men don't talk. He's home. He has provided. What more do you want? But women, we are yearning for more.
Yeah.
Yes, we appreciate the provision, the presence, your home, because, people will tell you, at least your husband comes home. Mine, he doesn't come home. He doesn't pay fees. He doesn't do anything. So it's like we have this interesting understanding that if a man is providing, if a man is there, then that's it. That's enough. And yet, we are seeing that more and more women are yearning for more. We want to talk. We want you to talk to us. So, Neil, I'm curious, why is it difficult? Is it difficult for men to talk? Is that mantra true?
Yeah. We were chatting a bit before the podcast began, but honestly, so by design, I would say, to a degree, right? Because of the way we process things, because of the way, the hormonal setup, etc. By design, and again, just to a degree, I feel like to a degree, women are not about talking generally, but just more in touch with their emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And then talking becomes the expression of the self. So most men, the idea of not talking, doesn't come because they don't even know, like they're not even feeling. Like they're not even aware, they're feeling things, but processing it, yes. And so I think just to a degree, because of the way that you are alert and aware of your emotions as a lady, there is a version where, to some extent, it becomes a bit easier. Now, what is also true is that there are things that have formed normalcy, like have become normalcy because of what you have always had. Now, when you grow up every single day or season, you've been to other men's circles, and the general constant there is that, listen, women are just tiring us with this desire to communicate. So subconsciously, you build up this belief as well. And I'm sure there are men out there who share stuff. But the point, like, look, that guy is somehow is girlish a bit because we have understood and said it's almost like what, again, in some parts of the world, cooking is attached to a woman. Right? Now, are women generally inclined to be homemakers? Yes. But is cooking just for a woman? No.
In fact, the best chefs are men.
In the world globally. So just like this, the best drivers in the world are generally women, right? So these are the things that, like, because you've grown up hearing them over and over again, you sort of believe them as a man as well. But the thing which I've also known to be true is that, you know, especially now that I told you we're in the season where now we've sort of had to relearn because the background to this is that we have done certain things that we believed were building connection. And again, to a degree, they did, but was it effective? No. So we then thought, if we're doing all these things and having mediocre results, what is the real problem here? Can we rethink what connection looks like? Can we rethink, you know, like dead night instead is not bad, but like an execution can mean disaster or, you know, success. And so where am I going to? I've had to relearn what it means for a man to be emotionally, one, aware, two, deliver those same emotions. But beyond learning what that means is the value in it. And because, again, by design and structure, men are more solution-oriented. And I'm speaking now first to the men who you have the desire to do these things, to work on your marriage, build your marriage. What you've known is to provide. You don't even if you are putting your phone away and sitting with your wife, you don't even know what to say. This is for those kind men first, is you have to then go to the why is it really important for you to connect emotionally. And I think that's why many ladies with the right intention also can't explain their husbands why is it important.
You want to share about?
Yeah. And that's a very good example because my wife desired to connect with me, and her desire to connect, she subconsciously knew that if Neil talks to me, we'll connect. Right? She knew it. Had that dream and that belief that, but her way of asking me to do it was, honey, let's go for walks. My idea of Saturday is like I've worked the entire week. I'm just trying to stay in my bed. The thing I can do for on Saturday is I can come out, we can have a bit of time. I'm going to stay in the house, maybe watch some sports or whatever it is. But like, I don't want to do anything on Saturday. Like I'm resting. So, but I come and I'm like, why? Because when we go to the forest and walk, we will talk. I'm like, but why are we talking? You know, like, yeah, I'm not that kind of person, honestly. I'm not going to walk and talk about, what am I talking about?
Nothing to talk about.
Yeah, and work things, you cannot help me work things. Like I'll try and tell you, but what effect? But even her, she didn't have the tools to explain to me what she was desiring to do. And so subsequently, we didn't go to the forest at all. We went once with our friends, and then I said, you know what? This walking is not for me. What I can do for you is we can go ride bicycles. But see, bikes are still, you're not like, for me, I'm zooming past them, making one more lap, I'm coming back. Like I'm there for that thrill. Exactly. So again, but what I didn't know then that I know now. Why? Because now for the past 4 weekends, we've gone on walks. And those conversations have been some of the deepest conversations we've had in our marriage. This is IFR. Not even just in our marriage. In our entire relationship. Because we're dating for another almost 10 years. 8. Okay. How many? 6.
Yes.
Okay. 6 years before we got married. We've had the deepest conversations in the last month or two. The why had not come out to me. But this is why it's important. Because connection is built from visibility. The more you can see into something, the more you can, one, feel like, okay, I am linked to this thing, but also the more that you can feel like even the things that are not the way I want them to be, I can begin to help to work on them. And I can see the work that's happening. And so because of that lack of connection, when I was communication, which then became connection, when I was struggling with something, like she told you, my upbringing really built me in a way that I was protecting my feelings and everything. And for me, it was out of a good thought. I was protecting my wife from all the craziness of the world, of work, of my own fears. If I'm scared that, my God, something could happen to work and I can't provide for my family, I won't tell her because I'm like, if I tell her, then she's going to freak out. Then she'll be like, oh my God. So I'm like, let me keep that from her. But because when I get that thought, I'm in my sofa thinking and I'm self-destructing and I'm like, I need to do something risky or to invest money, good intention. I do something risky to bring us money. Then I use money, I don't tell her. And then what happens then is like, but he is using the money. Like what's happening, right? But she's like those things now, because she has no visibility, she can't understand the why. But you see, what then happens with communication is that the more you share the things that you're dealing with and struggling with, the person is then, oh, don't worry, right? Like, it will be okay, or we can do it like this, etc. So
And it doesn't even have to be that
even a
have a
solution, right? Just you feeling like
Insight. We knowing.
you knowing,
You've
I know,
involved
you've
me.
involved me, you become closer and closer and closer. And so the ripple effect of that became then the learning there is that until I began to understand why I need to connect. Because again, I had the right intention for my marriage, but I never knew why should I connect. And then also, why am I not actually connected? So just removing those blockers. Bible says that, knowledge in all you perceive, you need to seek to get knowledge
And
and
understand.
understanding. Once I understood, and this morning I realized that the more I got understanding, the more I then became even a champion of that thing. But most people, or quote, most men just say, because I am like this, that's how it's going to be, right? And you can also be in an okay marriage. But what I believe is that like no one is built in this life to just be okay. You have to be excited to be in a marriage. You have to go to the next level every single day in your marriage. Same to your career. You have to go to the next level. Same to your business. If you're stagnating in something or declining, there's a problem. And so I began to think to myself as I began to learn this is maybe I've been surviving, but soon enough if you're surviving, soon enough you begin to go down. So then how can I go to the next level? And for me, it was understanding, one, that the value of the connecting. Two, that it's not innate that men don't connect. If you don't connect, you as a man, you as Neil, the whole world is there. Same to the school thing. Like the whole world is, this guys failed, yes, but you as Neil, why did you fail? It's because in Neil's life, there are these things that have formed this behavior. Once you deal with those things, then you know that, okay, it will be a process, but I can build a life where I can learn to be emotionally aware. And not only benefits my marriage, meanwhile, so this tool here is key because it not only benefits your marriage, but guess what? Your relationships all around. Your work becomes better. You can begin to see things like, because I couldn't express my emotions, Diana, when she expresses her emotions, I thought she was bringing this, like, what am I supposed to do? And she was saying, just listen and don't give me solutions. I'm like, so what's the point? But you see, but once that bulb clicks in your brain, you're like, wait, that helps me understand her better. Like, yeah, because not solving anything. You're just understanding her better, and then you can love her better. And then, together you can now begin to dig deeper into now the areas where there's no thriving. How do we get to now thrive in those areas together? And I think most men need to now come to that knowledge of why there might be a little degree, but for you as you, why isn't it happening? And once you figure out those things, take those steps, I can assure you it will never leave your marriage in your life personally the same.
It's amazing. Wow. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing so beautifully. The RelatePod is all about connection, human connection, because the genesis is just realizing that we are in a very connected world, but more than ever, the disconnection is at an all-time high. Yeah. And so I'm really, really always trying to hear and learn. How can we grow in the way we really deeply connect with one another? And especially in marriage. So you guys have shared so vulnerably.
So just one last thing.
Yes.
You see, most people do all these things in every other area.
Except.
So people will do whatever it takes to get better at their career. People will go for evening classes. You work in the day, you go to class in the night. People will do whatever it takes now to make more money. But very few, especially men, I know women, because women are more coming to this space and sharing with themselves. So they try and have some value. Most men, and they were discussing today something which was quite interesting. But then I was like, I was just thinking about how you proposed to me and did this thing that I was planned for our wedding and how we did, we really researched. For me to propose and to take a flight, I really researched before the fact. But it's like, how come? What's the contrast between then and now? And it's also because part of what has, really been the way of life that once you get married, once you cross,
you've arrived.
You see what I'm saying? So I just want to say an encouragement that, let's commit to say, can we put that work and that learning and that desire to find out and be curious even about our marriages? I know even parents for their children, they'll research. Yeah, your mom, Livi, you'll tell us.
She has me in a
so many prompts about your children, so many prompts about your work, your research, your assignment, your health, diets and keto and what, but very few prompts about your marriage. Very few prompts. So prompt it and say, but why does my wife ask me all the time to go and connect? Yeah. Why is she wanting conversations? Is there any value? Yes. Is there any value in me talking to my wife and conversing? Also, if I don't have anything to say on date night, what steps can I take? What can I do? You would be surprised to your skin what the answers to those prompts are.
You know, another thing that came to mind, Neil, as you were talking, is how socially, even the way men are raised, is, you know, they're raised to be tough.
Yeah.
Little boy, and sometimes he's crying.
Yeah.
And then he's telling him, don't cry.
Yeah.
Men don't cry.
When you fall, you're like,
And then I'm like, no,
Yeah.
my baby, you cry.
Yeah.
Because I want to change that narrative. So that, you know, we are raising men who are emotionally connected to themselves. But because there's a generation that has been raised from when he's young
Yeah.
to shut down
Yeah.
their
Emotion.
emotions.
Yeah.
So now, as an adult, as a 30-year-old, 20-year-old, you don't know.
You've done it for 20 years.
Yes,
Yeah,
you've been
for 20 years, you've done it
done it
every
to
single
shut
day.
down.
Yeah.
There is no space for you.
And then one day you get married and
Then
your
one
wife
day you're
says,
now married, and now your wife is expecting you
to connect with her and
be
be emotional.
And you're
vulnerable.
like, I don't even know
Yeah.
how that
What is she
looks
talking
like, and I don't even know where to
What are you talking
start.
about? What is she talking
So
about?
there's also that aspect,
Right.
and how, you know, as a society, it's how do we change that narrative for the next generation we're raising, but even for the men, how do we create spaces for them to actually be open about the things they are dealing with?
Man, I was saying a stat, and I know I'm saying so many things, but just think of just again randomly. Think of the last time you heard of a woman committing suicide. No, I won't.
Much.
The guys who jump off buildings, people who are jumping off buildings in themselves, these are men. And there's this, again, warped view of the fact that men are stronger because they don't share. But the strength is in knowing your emotions and sharing it, being able to deal with it. That's why these suicides is like men leaving their families. I've had women leaving their families.
Rarely, but these days they are.
They are, but the statistics are really skewed on them. It's the man who quits and gives up and jumps off a building because emotionally they have bottled this stuff so much, and so that's not strength then, right? Is that strength? Imagine if they were sharing the numbers.
Yeah.
You see, so we have to like really unlearn and relearn some things as men.
Even us as women, how do we have empathy towards our husband and invite them gently and create spaces of safety for them to actually learn
That's it.
how to
That's deep.
open up, you know, because it can get frustrating when you're inviting him, for example, for the walks and he's saying no.
Right.
You just feel like you don't care about this marriage.
Right.
You know,
True.
But
not
it comes back to the
invested.
understanding, because when I understand something of the why, even now that why is open to her.
Yeah.
Once you have that understanding, the degree of grace you can offer, it changes exponentially. You know, my wife reached a point where she's like, well, if she doesn't want to come, I've done my best. But now as we begin to redig in the cause, see, she's the same person offering me the grace now. Like I'm not getting up every morning saying, oh my God, I'm dying to come. Now I'm like, and it's like, honey, we're trying to do something here. Remember? I'm like, oh yes. Like even me, I push myself, but even as she's pushing herself to say, this guy needs
To
thick
remind
brain
him that
until he gets
why.
it. Yes, you see. But she's the same person who's reminding me. Yeah.
When you were speaking, it reminded me because I think, and this was something that we have also just learned recently, that even you as the wife, that now that your husband is going to come and be vulnerable with you and share with you these things, it doesn't mean that it's going to be all like
Things that they'll share with you.
So you also have to be prepared
Receive that
to
information.
receive it. And sometimes it might be overwhelming, and it's okay for you to feel that way. But then, and he said, and it's true, sometimes, he'll come and share certain things and you worry. But then you have to remember that, you know what, at least I know also. And then sometimes also it will be things that may not necessarily be what I want to hear, because he's opening up about things that I'm like, what? I'm finding out like this about him, and this is how he's thinking, and it might come off like that's like, it feels like you are, and maybe I'm not enough, and so it can make you feel a certain type of way. But I think I'm learning to understand that what's most important is that he's sharing, and he's not keeping it to himself. He's not hiding it away from me. And it's in these little things. And that's why I said earlier on that sometimes people think it's the big things. It's always the big things that, but it's the very small things. And I was I think we were having a conversation recently, and I was telling him how a couple was trying to do, I came across, and we're talking about the difference between transparency and I think it was honesty and transparency. Honesty being, I come and I tell you, oh, honey, I went to do some shopping, grocery shopping, but then I could stop there. But then I actually bought stuff for myself, right? That's transparency. I'm going ahead and telling him, but I saw this beautiful pair of shoes and I really wanted them, so I got them for myself. That's a seemingly little thing, but it's like I said, it's the daily habits that you are cultivating. If you're honest and transparent about the small things, even when the big things happen, it will come easier for you to actually share them. But if you keep hiding, imagine you think out that scenario in your head and you're like, if I tell him, yeah, he's going to say, but honey, here it is. We spoke about, we don't go beyond, the budget. So we have all these that we need to take care of. Why did you go ahead and buy that stuff? So if you think about all of that and you end up saying, you know what, I'll keep it to myself. And you find yourself hiding away that pair of shoes. And you think that's like innocent of
dishonesty
telling,
and lack of transparency.
you're telling lies. And that's how it begins in the small things. And that's why it's important to actually disclose even the little things, that now when the big things happen, there is a safe space for you to come and say, okay, this is what has happened. This is how I was, maybe today I struggled with this, or, whatever it is. Then sometimes it's not like you said, for guys, I think the automatic response is they're thinking of a solution. Okay, what do we do? But sometimes it's just, I need to inform you so that should anything happen, at least you're aware of what was happening. And that's why it's so sad sometimes when you hear a husband, say for instance, committed suicide, and the wife is like, but I thought we were okay. And yet it's because there was no space to actually really speak about what it is that you are dealing with. What's in the inside? What are your feelings? What are you thinking about? And so I think those are some things we're beginning to learn about, how we connect. Like, even it's important, like, you tell me about what's your day going to look like, right? As opposed to you coming now and telling me, okay, this is how my day went. Should anything happen, say for instance, at least I know that, oh, he said he would be going here, or that was this or that. It doesn't come as a shocker to me. So yeah, I feel like that's how you are able to just, be able to. And you mentioned something interesting about date nights, where people feel like, yeah, but then after some time you're like, now what more do we talk about, But one thing we're learning about that is that sometimes that's just a way for people to going to that place, going to understanding Neil deeper. He's put up a wall also, because he's like, if now we go into the deep conversation, there are things that might
not
be
ready to tell her
unasked.
that I'm keeping to myself.
So I think now one of the things for me is learning that you should always be asking why. Why is it difficult for us to be able to, why is it difficult for us to even pray together, right? And you see, I've also learned this, that many times praying together sometimes can reveal things that are in your heart. Because as you pray, because you're speaking to God, but then if you're failing, sometimes it's an indication that there are things that you feel you cannot share in front of your spouse before God. And yet that's another way in which you can actually connect deeply. Yeah, now you should ask, why do we struggle? Why do we struggle to actually have genuine prayer time together? Is it that you feel like, now if I say my thing in front of my person, what will they think of me? But imagine if you were really genuinely open about everything in your life, then it's no longer difficult, it's easier for you to just be open. And you feel like I think that we all desire to be in a place, especially with your spouse, where you feel like there's nothing my spouse doesn't know about me. I think that's ultimate goal for all of us. We want to be in that place, but
Or it
we
should be.
always find ourselves struggling
to
to
get there.
get to that place. And once you find and you hit that stalemate, that's when you now need to begin asking why.
This conversation is gold. So many nuggets, so many thought-provoking things have come through. Thank you so much, Neil and Diana.
You're welcome.
I think this is not your first time.
Ah.
I mean, your last time at the Relate
okay.
Pod. We shall definitely have you again. Thank you. Thank you so much. And to our dear audience, thank you for tuning in, and would love to hear your comments on what connection on
I get to do
below.
that kind of thing now. Put the comments down below.
Please, and we love reading the comments and hearing your thoughts. And yes, let the conversation continue on what intentional connection and pursuit looks like, just as Neil and Diana have shared just a bit about what it looks like. And as I always end the podcast, living is loving. So intentionally connect with someone in your life today. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah.